Good morning. So I am giving the DJI Mavic 3 a second attempt on the active track to show me that it is better than it performed yesterday. Yesterday it didn't do well at all, did it? I wanted to take it to a bit of a challenging area, so I took it to an area where there was obstacles, some trees, slippery roads. I was wearing dark colours and it wasn't great, but I didn't want to take it to this perfect location of a really open space with no obstacles, because yeah, it would work great there, and it better had worked great there, because that's where I am today. So today I'm wearing a blue top, I've got a green bobbled beanie hat, and I've took it to a nice open space here on the promenade. So the active track should work absolutely flawlessly here, and if it doesn't, there's going to be some issues. Let's get into that video.
For the testing today, I'm using this electric bike as well. This is by Fido, goes up to 30 kilometers an hour. So the Mavic 3 should be able to handle me on this bike with no problems at all. So let's get this box dragged around me now. I'm in different colors, so it shouldn't have any problems. I'm going to start off by using the focus track. So as I've selected it here, I'm now just going to bring that drone a bit further away from me. And then just when you've selected it, now you can select which orientation you want it. So left, right, forward, off center, from the front or off the back. I'm just going to select it so it's going to go to the left. Once you click go, make sure you click record, and then it will then swing to the left hand side and track you from the left hand side. And you can see it does a fairly good job. Tracking from the side is something we couldn't do on the DJI Air 2S, so tracking you from the left or right is an advantage. Is this shot usable though? That's something we're going to be talking about throughout the video. It isn't the smoothest. And in this shot now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that drone further back, because I want to try and achieve a wider shot to get some more of that horizon and landscape in the shot as well. So I'm going to select the back left hand corner to track me. Now as soon as I select go and record, the drone will then automatically fly closer to me again. Now as you can see, it's not struggling to lose my position whatsoever. It's defaulted to that back left hand corner like I wanted it, but again we've got this really tight shot. Again, there is no wide shot, and this happens again and again and again. No matter which side you set it from or the distance you set it from, the drone will constantly keep defaulting back to you to get this really close shot. I do like that when it is tracking you, you can select the different angle, the different position you want the drone to be at without stopping the recording. That is a brilliant feature, and you can select it left, right, in front, offset without having to stop, and that is something we haven't seen before through focus or active track. But watch this again. So again, I'm going to push it back further. It's still just about got me locked on there, and I'm going to select it now. Once I've selected my position, so let's just select it to keep on that side. I click go. As soon as I do it, look how close it's getting again. It's still got me locked around that box, so it's still got me there. But again, we've got this really tight shot, a tight shot that I didn't want. And I feel this is a big letdown. I think we need the option to either have a close or wide or further away shot, something within the options to give us, again, the pilots, the control with this drone. Now, I think the footage is good. I like the 4K quality coming out of this. I love to be able to swing the drone around. But we certainly need some more features. Now, I don't know if this is just an iOS bug, but you can push up after about 5 seconds on the left stick to increase the altitude. So I'm going to do that now. As you can see, it's quite a close shot here. And I'm now going to push up on that left stick, and you'll see the drone will then start to gain some altitude and increase. So I'm getting quite a high shot. The drone doesn't automatically go faster backwards to keep me in the middle of the frame, but watch happens automatically on its own. It will then think, oh, hang on, I need to come a little bit lower, and it comes on its own accord to get a really tight shot and quite scarily close to this wall. So it's a bit all over the place and erratic. Look how close it is to that wall there. You know, the obstacle avoidance has worked, granted, but did I want a really close low down shot like this? No, I didn't. Now, as I'm struggling through this terrain here, I can push back on the stick to push that drone away from me. But as soon as you select and drag the box around you and click go, that drone will default and come straight back to you. And it is, I do find it's quite annoying. Like, look, this is a perfect location for this. I've not struggled it with any trees or in quite a poor location. This is an open space with hardly any obstacles. So in these sorts of areas, of course it's going to work. It's, you know, this is what the drone is meant to be for. This is meant to be Active Track 5.0, this really good Active Track. And don't get me wrong, I love this drone. This is my favorite drone that I've ever had. So we have these expectations that we want this to be great. We've been sold that this is this $5,000 drone, and it should perform like one as well. So if it's not performing like it is in a real world test, I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not going to do jump cuts or take stuff out so you think, oh, it's perfect that. You guys need to know the good and the bad. So giving us the option to change the distance in flight away from us would be a great advantage and easily could happen. You can change the gimbal, and I try to point it up here, but as you do, you get really close to the bottom of that frame. The drone doesn't seem to maneuver itself to keep you in the center of the frame, so you kind of just defaulting back to what it feels is best, and that's this really close, tight shot. So in this location, it's worked a lot better, and it's kept me focused and tracked throughout most of this actual shooting. It's also identified me as a human on a bike fairly easily, so a lot better than the first attempt. And I love the ability to switch and change positions whilst in motion without having to stop. So certainly an advantage over the Air 2S, but still work needs to be done. We need some extra controls within Active Track to make it even better, and I hope and fingers crossed this will come soon. Now, Spotlight. Let's talk about Spotlight. Now, this is brilliant if you're especially in, say, real estate, or for tracking a building or an object, and let the drone do most of the work for you. So what you can do is, like here, I've selected it around this building. Now, as I turn the drone, the software will make sure that this building is always in the center of the frame. It will adjust the pitch of the gimbal orientation as well, so you can get some really great shots. And this is why for cinematic shots of buildings or real estate, for houses, it's absolutely perfect. Now you can see here as we drag it around this building here, as we get closer, it does lose the tracking in a second, as you'll see here, but it still keeps the building completely in the frame as we increase altitude, and then you get this really nice shot without you having to adjust the gimbal at all. Really good. Position of interest. So this at the moment is one of my favorite ones for getting these wider shots. So as you can see here now, I've dragged the box around me, and then you can select it from slow to fast, and it goes in a circle around you. So I'm going to select it so it goes to my left hand side, and we're going to start off fairly slow. Once you've done that, you just click go, and the drone will then circle around you whilst you're in motion. For this, I'm just going to select it to 4K 60, and then we can mess around with some slow-mo as well doing this and speed bits up. But this works well, so for tracking you on a bike or a car, this is perfect. Did I say perfect? Well, it did lose me there, but I was pretty close to the wall, so we'll let that off. I'll let that slide. And then on this occasion here, it is tracking me. It's going to try and circle around me, but it is struggling. It can't pick up myself on the bike, whether it's me on the bike. Does it want to select the dog? Does it want to select the dog walker? It's really struggling, and trying to get it to circle around you, and that active track has just now been lost completely, and it's selected nobody. Now, as you can see on this shot, again, it's a really nice shot as it's tracking you, but as I've got it now from the back, I'm going to select to the right hand side, and that swings to the right really nicely. But look how close that is, and this is the problem with it. As I now select it from the left hand side, so now I want it to get me and a bit of the sea in the shot, but because I'm so close to that, look, it's now lost me. If we had a wider shot, if that drone was a bit higher up, a bit further away, it would have a better chance of keeping me in the frame and therefore keeping lock. And I feel at the moment this is the biggest downside to the active track at the moment. It definitely needs some work. We need more options and ability on this drone.
So yes, it's better in an area like this, but I do think it definitely still needs improvement. Now, to get that tracking working the best, it's obviously the closer it is to you, the better it's going to keep track. But I think we should have more control about being able to push the drone back a little bit and get a wider shot. It's quite close, so as you're, maybe like today for example, cycling off into the distance, you can't see any of the landscape or any of the horizon ahead of me, what I'm filming. It's just a really tight shot. I think because the drone is that that close to you, as you're swinging the drone around on this D-pad from left to right, down, up, wherever you want, that's great to be able to do that in flight, by the way. But because it's such a close shot and it's really close to you, that drone, that's where it's missing you. So you'll notice when I was tracking back, and I think it was on the right hand side, and I selected it to go to my left, as it's swinging around, because it's so close to me, I went out of the frame and then it lost me and it didn't then find me again. If that was a wider shot, it would have a better chance of still keeping me in that frame, keeping that lock on me. So I can't pull the drone back, and I think we do need a wider shot. Because it's such a close shot, all you can kind of see is the footpath or the actual ground, what you're walking on or cycling on. You can't see much of the landscape. You can turn the gimbal wheel a little bit, but I noticed as you turn the gimbal upwards to see more of the location, the drone gets even closer to you. But yes, it's better. Go and try that out in a location like this. It's fine. It needs some improvement. So then the other locations, like yesterday, in more real world locations where there's going to be trees, there's going to be power lines, obstacles, you want it to be good there as well. It needs to be good everywhere. I will be testing this a lot more, and I'm going to be touching on all the other different features that come with this firmware, and the new firmware is coming up as well. So we've done loads of tech and drone content. I really appreciate everyone. Comment down below. Let me know please if on Android or iOS you are able to change the flight parameters whilst in flight after you've clicked go. That'd be really helpful for me, so I can also feed that back to DJI as well. But yeah, like and subscribe if you're new around here. That'd be awesome, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye, take care.